do this thing. Okay. I'm going to do a really quick review for Ghost in the Shell. The 2017 live-action version of Ghost in the Shell. I saw it, just briefly right out of the gate, say I liked it, but if you've seen any other reviews for this, you probably heard, like, there's a certain... It's good, but... And let's go over that real quick. Background. Ghost in the Shell is a franchise, actually. It's not... Everyone goes, oh, it's based on a movie. Kind of. Ghost in the Shell is originally a manga that was serialized in 1989. And it's not just like that story, the story from the original anime, but it's an entire long thing. It went on for a while. I could probably look it up. But there are many chapters to it. It went on for a while. It's very long, actually. The movie is based on going back, the anime back in 1995 is based on that comic, the manga, the Japanese comic graphic novel. So, briefly, Ghost in the Shell, the 2017 movie starring Scarlett Johansson, is, I was going to say loosely, but it's not loosely at all. It's actually a quite faithful adaptation of the 1995 adaptation of the 1989 graphic novel. So, yeah. Here's the thing. Going through this briefly. All the acting is excellent in it. I can't think of any performance where it was like, oh, that wasn't very good, or that was kind of so-so. Everything was very good as far as the acting goes. The writing it's very closely based on the original. Like I said, this is multiple iterations of this. It's very similar to the anime from '95. To the point it doesn't really adapt much. Where it does well. I mean, once again, it's like where they kind of do their own thing, they do their own thing very well. I don't remember, for example, no spoilers, this is spoiler free. I don't remember the character Kuze from the original one. Like, I knew there was a character like that, but I didn't even remember him well. In this one, he was so distinctive and interesting and well done that I almost liked him more than Scarlett Johansson's character. So, where they adapted, I think they did fairly well. The problem with the anime is that, and this is complicated, so let's go through this, it's the source material itself. The movie is perfectly fine, based on what it is. It tried to be a very, very faithful adaptation of the original anime, which in turn is an adaptation of this comic, and the problems it suffers are the original story is really overblown. It's complicated when it doesn't necessarily need to be. This movie did actually shorten things a lot, which has the downside of removing some of the characters, or at least foreshortening them a little. They don't have as much to do or as much to say as they did in the anime. The anime is crazy long, and well, first of all, it's overblown. The story is just kind of needlessly complicated. The problem you run into there is that it's kind of a mystery. Well, the thing about a mystery is you have to describe a situation, and the movie has to describe a situation to you, and while it's doing so, it's lying. That is to say, parts of what you are being told aren't true. So then, over the course of the movie, you are retold the situation, only this time, aha, these things were different. This is where where some of the characters and me, the audience, was being deceived. So you're being told kind of the same thing twice. On top of that, it's set in this fictional setting. It's not real world anywhere, it's future world. It's future post-cyberpunk, not Tokyo, like Newport City or whatever it is. Circa, they don't even mention what year it is, because at this point the comic was from '89 and was set 40 years in the future, from 1989. 40 years in the future from 1989 is only like a few years from now. It's like 12 years from now or something like that. So they just it's future, it's the future, so don't worry about it. And that's cool. That was a good decision. Shortening a long, frankly, as much as I like the anime, it lags a lot. It's a lot of dialogue. It's a mystery. It's kind of a procedural drama with a mystery that takes place in the future. So you have to explain what this future setting is. You have to explain all these situations, procedural drama. This is how police work. This is how the government works. This is the evil corporation. Da 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 da. This is the situation with cybernetics and so on. And you're not doing things while you're doing that. You're explaining stuff. So it's slow. The pacing goes slow. So the problems with it aren't the problems with this movie. They're the problems with the base material it's set in. And it doesn't really try to reinterpret them very much, and maybe it could have, to good effect. So that's kind of a downside. Other than that, and it has to be said, this is a post-cyberpunk story from '89. I mean, that's what it is. It's along the lines of Neuromancer, Gibson, all the rest, all those stories from like the 80s. It's very much informed by that. The problem you have is that we don't think or realize things like that anymore. Someone else said that the issue you have, it's the same issue with The Hobbit. It's like, look, this is the basis of a lot of, where The Hobbit is the basis of a lot of fantasy tropes, this is the basis of a lot of cyberpunk sci-fi tropes. A lot of this stuff has been adapted to other stuff. Everything. Everywhere. So, pretending like nothing has changed since then and just redoing the movie without any reinterpretation, it doesn't have the same bite that it did in the 90s. That said, it's pretty good. It was very entertaining. I liked it a lot. Overall, I'd recommend seeing it. Scarlett Johansson and accusations of whitewashing. I have so little concern over that, I'm not even going to address it, other than to say it's stupid. I don't care about it. Whatever. It's an Americanized version of a property that was originally Japanese. Whatever. Don't care. Odds you'll see this movie and not like it. Fairly good. I'd say 2 in 5, maybe, somewhere in that neighborhood. Here's the problem: it's a good movie. It's entertaining. The acting is good. There's a lot of good qualities to it, but the pacing is all over the place. Very slow in places. The great action sequences, especially the ones you kind of glimpse in the previews, imply that this is an action film. That's a non-stop thrill ride, and it's not. There's, like I said, there's a lot of procedural drama stuff. There's a lot of wandering around talking. There's a lot of emotional appeals. Like, there's a scene where there's people talking, like, outside of a graveyard, and so on. So, I think there's a good chance that if you're not into it, like the spectacular visuals and so on don't distract you, the dated source material and the slow pacing might annoy you. So I think, as much as I like it, I think there's a good chance you'll see it and not like it. Do I want to see this again? Is the second part of my review. And not right away, actually. Like I said, it's slow paced. There's nothing in it I have to see. I would see this again, but I'd want at least a month or so. Not for another month. It was good, but I'll wait for video on demand. That's it. If you like and subscribe, that's me.